My name is Bill Jones. I'm with recapturefederalism.com. It's one of my sites, and my other site is operationofficialmisconduct.com. I want to talk about something today. I was out about noontime today in the car running errands, and happened to have Rush Limbaugh. I usually have him on when I'm out about that time of day. And I heard him talking about Secretary of State Kerry and Obama and the Syrian thing. And yada, 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 as he's doing his usual kick-ass job. And it just dawned on me. We're going through this stuff all over again. We go through this stuff over and over and over. Psychological warfare against the people of the United States, Pysc Ops, brainwashing, lies, propaganda. And what do? We end up getting Americans killed all over the place, around the globe, doing stuff we shouldn't do. Now, what it reminded me of, I'm a Vietnam veteran. And interestingly enough, I served 1969 over in Tonkin Gulf on an aircraft carrier, the Ticonderoga. And you have cruise books, sort of like a high school yearbook and what have you. And this is 1969, cruise book, Ticonderoga, Carrier Wing 16, which is what I was in, Carrier Wing 16 in a bombing squadron. Now, in the book, they go back, Ticonderoga was in World War II. It was a World War II carrier. Didn't do anything. It was in mothballs during Korea. Came out after Korea. They put an angle deck on it, and the whole thing like that. Served several tours in Tonkin Gulf. It was there in 1964. It was on station off the coast of South Vietnam, North Vietnam, popularly known as Yankee Station. In 1964, there was an incident, and the task group that Ticonderoga was part of, and was the lead carrier in that particular task group, 77.5, was there for the incident at Tonkin Gulf incident with the destroyers Maddox and C. Turner Joy, and they talk about it in this book. On Sunday, August 2nd, 1964, Ticonderoga went to the assistance of the USS Maddox, DD-731, operating on special assignment some distance from the task force. They went right into task force there. Special assignment. And when you hear that term in the Navy, and even some of the other services I imagine too, it means they're off yonder. They're doing something not in your regular run-of-the-mill naval operations or on regular patrol. They're out doing their thing. And so they had this incident in 1964. And later on, the C. Turner Joy, which is DD 951, I think. There are pictures there. The Maddox is here. A map of the incident and the days and what have you. And it's interesting, they made a big deal about this. And even McNamara, Secretary McNamara, went before Congress and they testified and everything else. And they had a release, a statement made by Secretary of Defense Robert S. McNamara at a news conference on August 5th, 1964. So they got the mainstream media there. They, propaganda people. They'll repeat anything for any administration because that's, what they do. And here's the statement. As you know, on August 2nd and again on August 4th, North Vietnamese surface vessels attacked U.S. destroyers operating on routine patrol in the international waters in the Gulf of Tonkin. In retaliation for this unprovoked aggression on the high seas, our forces struck the bases used by North Vietnamese naval craft. Other statement continues on. But I just want to talk about it. You see that? What they're saying? We got this guy, the Secretary of Defense, saying they're on routine patrol, and yet this other thing they make reference, it's on special assignment. So we got the Secretary of Defense goes on up to Capitol Hill, unprovoked, and boy, these people are the worst thing ever. Unprovoked, they come out and they attack these destroyers with torpedoes, gunfire. Well, the incident did happen, and the patrol boats did come out. But they were provoked because the previous year or two before that, they had been provoked. In 1997, a book is written. It is called, and I happened to thinking about this, and I heard Limbaugh, and I said, I wonder if I still got that book around I bought it a long time ago. Turns out 1997, copyright. It was written by a gentleman by the name of H.R. McMaster. I hadn't heard of him and didn't know where he went, and blah, blah, blah. The internet thing's a great thing. I go on the internet, where's he at? Turns out, at the time he wrote this, it shows him in here, he was a major. He's gone a long way now. Now he's a major general. He's been over, one of the best generals over in Afghanistan and Iraq and the Persian Gulf and everything like that. He's still in the United States Army. He's a major general. The last time I see on Wikipedia, there, as far as I know, he's still in the Army. He's down at Fort Benning. But he wrote this book. And the reason he wrote the book, it was his doctoral thesis, was this book, Dereliction of Duty. And the subtitle, and you'll love this, Lyndon Johnson, Robert McNamara, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the lies that led to Vietnam. And there we go. We continue to have it. Psychological warfare against the American people, brainwashing, propaganda, lies continue. And when I hear what's going on over in Syria, we haven't even had a provoking against any of our ships, planes, or anything else. It's all within Syria. And we're going to get involved? And so we provoke them and we attack them. I don't care how small. That man's got a right to defend himself. That country has a right to. They're the legitimate government at this time, no matter how rotten they may be. And we're going to go over and drop some cruise missiles. At that point, we put in harm's way, as a veteran of the United States Navy, I got to tell you, you just put in harm's way every ship and every sailor, every Marine that's aboard those ships. You're putting them in harm's way. Now, what did Mr. or Major General now McMaster write about in there? I bought this book because my interest, obviously, because I wonder if they're going to mention the Ticonderoga, and you know they are. And I bought the book back there, probably 97, 98, whenever I bought it. And what did McMaster talk about? He talked about covert operations, which led up to the Tonkin Gulf incident. The United States Navy and the South Vietnamese Navy, and I suspect the CIA involvement also, even with patrol boats in the harbors, patrol boats at sea, covert operations. So when we say special assignment, that could include covert operations against patrol boats. And we were doing that, obviously. We had the Green Berets over there. We had other people. We didn't have combat units in there yet. And that would be 65, and it would be built off these lies. And we would end up having 58,000 Americans, million-something Vietnamese. It didn't need to happen. Something happened, could have went the other way. Now, all these generals weren't in favor of that, and there's a quote from, at the time, in 63, and he retired in early 64, was the Marine Commandant, general by the name of David Shoup, a real mad dog Marine, Medal of Honor at Tarawa in World War II. And he was a commandant of the Marine Corps. He was opposed to expansion that we were doing, the Cuba expansion, the result of acting on in 62 with Cuba missile crisis, Vietnam. He was over there in 62 in Vietnam, and he came back and he wrote, and there's even some quotes in Dereliction of Duty. He didn't want any expansion. It wasn't worth one American blood over there. Now, he had a famous quote. He turned out he was an anti-Vietnam War activist. And a statement he made around 63, 64 is applicable today, right now, with Syria. Listen to this quote. And this is back 47, 48 years ago he made this quote. I believe that if we had and would keep our dirty, bloody, dollar-soaked fingers out of the business of these nations so full of depressed, exploited people, they will arrive at a solution of their own. And if, unfortunately, their revolution must be of violent type because of the haves, refuse to share with the have-nots by any peaceful method, at least what they get will be their own and not the American style, which they don't want, and above all don't want crammed down their throats by Americans. Hands off. That's what he was saying then, and maybe we ought to be doing it now. But no, we continue. And I don't care what a minute, it's from the two parties, it doesn't make any difference. They tell these lies, they brainwash, it's psychological warfare, intimidation, sabotaging the economy, government, the people. Lies, lies, lies. And we see them again now.